Hello and welcome. With a Peter Pan-like enduring youth, he's remained a favourite of Indian moviegoers since he first hit the big screen in 1979. Since then, he's been more visible on the international stage with appearances in Western productions. This week on One on One, meet one of Bollywood's most popular actors, Anil Kapoor. As one of the hardest working actors in the Indian film industry, his age-resistant face pops up everywhere in very diverse roles. Friends and relatives in the movie business gently guided Anil Kapoor's early years, but he mostly carved his own path, and it took almost a decade in the industry for the Punjabi-born actor to get his first major award. Now his work is widely acclaimed, including his dramatic performance in Danny Boyle's 2008 blockbuster Slumdog Millionaire, which proved to be the springboard for Anil Kapoor to swap Bollywood with Hollywood for a while. He says the Western film world's doors have certainly opened, but India will always be home. Anil, it's lovely to talk with you again.
Thank you.
I've got to ask you, your career has taken some interesting leaps and bounds in literally the last couple of years with the success of Slumdog Millionaire. It's changed you from being just an Indian actor to being really an international star. How has your life changed? I mean, what's the most dramatic change in your life since that?
Well, if it had happened 20 years back, it would have really dramatically changed. But it's happened, I think, at the right time, so it's not such a dramatic change. Only thing, I'm traveling a lot. I'm sure for the others in Slumdog Millionaire, there might be it can be, you can say that lives are completely changed. But in a way, you can say it has changed, that it has given me an exposure which I could never dream of. It's like, Slumdog Millionaire is a huge success worldwide, critically as well as commercially. And then now I've done 24, which is a show which is a cult show, and that also has great cult following. And
now, in spite of your Peter Pan looks, you've got a long career. You've had a long career in the film business, and a very diverse range of roles as well. And I wonder how you look at the industry over the years, the way it's changed, and how the expectation of you as an actor has changed. How the Indian film industry from the 70s has gone through into the 80s and 90s and now into the 20s.
I started my career in the late 70s. I started with bit roles, obviously. At that time, I was, in my early 20s. And obviously, at that time, I could not really look at it the way I would look at it when I was in the second decade of my, when I came into the 80s. 80s, obviously, I was looking at it as if, like a youngster who wants to achieve, wants to change the way things are in the industry, the way I would look at a script. I would want the script. I want everything to be done professionally. I would, I was the kind of thinking kind of an actor. So that was the 80s, and there were quite a few of them who were like-minded, and things were changing in 80s, and then 90s was the third decade. Obviously, I became much more aware of things, and again, the things changed in 90s. But it's now, I feel, in the early 2000s and the last decade, where things are really changing rapidly, and where everything is, you can say that the technicians, the actors, and all sectors of film and the entertainment industry if really focused and if you really work hard, you can compete it with anywhere in the world, in a way. But we have a long way to go.
Let me take you back to your childhood. You're born in Bombay, and Mumbai as it is now, and very much. I mean, Bollywood gets its name from being Bombay's Hollywood, I guess. So you're right in the heart of things, from an early age. What were your earliest memories of the city and your life here?
Well, I was born in a small suburb of Mumbai, Chembur, and which was surrounded by all these slums. And at that time, as a kid, that's the best time I really was the growing up was the best time. I remember taking a bus from Chembur to going to the city, which is South Mumbai, and I would travel from. And I could see, obviously, I remember the trams also at that time. There were trams, there were buses, and obviously things were slightly different. And now it's obviously getting more and more crowded. Obviously, you can see that the space is getting lesser and lesser. The grounds, the greens, everything is changing. It's changing.
So was it a happy childhood?
It was great, yeah, happy childhood, very happy childhood.
Your father, Surinder, was a film producer?
Yeah, he was a film producer.
So was that sort of seeped into the family culture, the whole industry? Was it part of your daily life?
Absolutely, yeah. Matter of fact, from from the time I came to my senses, I've been breathing films. My father was an assistant director. He came to, he's from Pakistan. He came to North India, that's in Delhi, and then he came to Mumbai, and he became an assistant director to K. Asif, a director who made Mughal Azam. And then he became a secretary to Shami Kapoor, yeah, and so that's because of that we became very close to the Kapoors, and and obviously from the childhood, from when I was in school, living in Chembur, traveling on buses, going to RK studios, so that was the whole atmosphere of films and going to the parties. There are famous Raj Kapoor parties and famous parties at the RK studios or Shami Kapoor's house. So my childhood has been, like the slums, as well as the entire child staying in a very. I'm from a very humble beginning, being an assistant director, son of assistant director, an assistant or a secretary of an actor. We call it secretary. Actually, my father was an agent of the actor. So I'm son of an agent in a way. But the agents in Hollywood or in England they're not as, they're not, it's not that respectful to be an agent over here earlier. Now, obviously, things are still not the way it is there in the West. So I was just a son of an agent in a way. And so it was a great contrast for me, living in a suburb, in a chawl kind of area and going to these kind of big parties.
You were quite a loner, though, at an early age, weren't you?
Yeah, I was a good listener. And I would observe things, and I would watch and observe, and so in a way, that's the reason I think people felt that I was a loner. So whenever I was to go to these parties and see all these stars, and I always felt that so my father's an assistant, he's became a producer, but I'm not going to become an assistant producer. So I would look at these stars, and I would say that, and I said, no, I won't become a star, but I want to become an actor, because I always wanted to be something else. Something always constantly trying to be someone else. I never liked, I would get, I like someone, then I would like that character, I would like that character. So basically I would dream to be an actor.
Were you close to your siblings?
Yes, I was close to my elder brother. I am close to my elder brother. I'm close. That he was the only person I was really close. Otherwise I was more, and you're right, I was more to myself. And, and I had this dream of being an actor constantly.
You regularly commuted on buses and trains, didn't you?
Yeah, buses and train. Yeah, I loved it. I still love it.
Yeah,
I still love it. Yeah.
What, in terms of your sort of interaction with society, what was special about that, do you think? Because it's missing now, really, for a lot of people.
I think what you can observe traveling by a bus and a train, you can't, and the kind of people you see, interesting people, exciting people, and different kind of people. And people from all walks of life, diversities and religion. So it was great, and different, so sometimes funny people, sometimes serious people, sometimes very happy people, sometimes intellectuals, so all kinds of people, and aggressive children, fun children, all delinquents. So all beggars, different kind of beggars. So I experienced everything on traveling by train and by, and that was really real fun. And then getting on the train and to the railway station, all these trains, it's that culture is completely. And matter of fact, when I was as an actor, when I was doing my training as an actor, I was training myself as an actor. All my stories and improvisations and which I would do as an exercise, I would develop it and think about it once I was traveling in train.
And it's a great character study, I guess.
Absolutely, character studies, yeah.
How was life in St. Xaviers College, Mumbai's? Well, it was one of the prestigious colleges. You would have been with quite a diverse range of people there.
Yes, you see, because being in a suburb, going to a college in the city like St. Xaviers was a big thing. So I didn't want to go to St. Xaviers. I'm being very honest with you, to study. It was, for me, it was more like a status symbol. Yes, because I said I've been, so for me it is that I am going to the city and I'm going to, go to St. Xaviers College so that I could, come up in life as a, in society. So people look at me that he's from St. Xaviers. From a suburb, now he's gone to St. Xaviers. So I hardly attended any class in St. Xaviers. I was mostly trying to meet people, different kind of people. So I was trying to, so that they would accept me, that I am part of this entire class of society of people who are coming to the city to study, from a small little suburb of Mumbai. So it was more to going to St. Xaviers because of that. I'm being very honest with you.
And of course, your movie career started early on, but you ended up in 1984 marrying Sunita, your wife, who was a model at the time. How does she? I mean, and you're blessed with 3 kids. How does she regard your work?
She was not, she that was complete, you know, like when I met, we are together since the last 38 years now, from 10th standard, from when I was, before I could finish my school, we were friends. So I don't know, what did she see in me? You know, we never discussed what I wanted to be. She just, you know, we were friends, and then we fell in love, and we you know, courted each other, and we dated each other for quite a few years, and then we got married. And till today, if I was successful, I'm not successful, it just didn't matter to her.
It's wonderful, though. You've, unlike many of your peers, have managed to stay out of the gossip columns for this reason, I think, because you're considered one of the most stable people in that respect in the industry.
I'm so content with my this relationship which I've had for so many years. I'll be lying to you that if I was not attracted towards other girls or my co-stars, I was. But sometimes when I would go back to her, I would still feel, no, I've been blessed to be in this kind of relationship. That's one of the reasons I feel that, you know, that I have been out of all these controversies, and I'm a bit scared.
Well, Anil, I have more questions for you. We're going to take a very short break here. Back with more one-on-one with Anil Kapoor in a moment. Welcome back. You're watching One-on-One. We're speaking with Bollywood star Anil Kapoor. Your career to some degree took off in 1984 with your sort of first successful movies, Mashal and I think Wo Saat Din,
right.
Those 7 days. What changed in terms of your work when those became hits?
See, I've been very fortunate in that way. You know, I started with bit roles, but 1983 Wo Saat Din release and 1984 Mashal release, and both these films were critically acclaimed, as well as, like, Wo Saat Din became a huge success. But in both the films, I was pitted against India's best actors. In Wo Saat Din, I was pitted with Naseeruddin Shah, so I had this good fortune and to be with such a phenomenal actor. So obviously, you know, people went to see Naseeruddin Shah, and there was Padmini Kolhapuri, and in Mashal there was Dilip Kumar. And it's thanks to, you know, and both these films, obviously and I was a newcomer. So these 2 films really established me, and they became and made me what I am today. And I have been fortunate that from 1983 to 2010, now my career has been very, very consistent. It's been steady, and you know, and I've been worked with the best directors, actors, co-stars, and I've been really lucky that way. Yeah.
In those early days, a lot of people compared you with Raj Kapoor. They said, you know, you had that sort of kind of same mimicry of his character. Was that intentional?
No, it was more after. Matter of fact, earlier it was they would pit me against Amitabh Bachchan. Earlier, when I did Mashal and I did Meri Jung and all the films. It's when I did Wo Saat Din. You see, I had, like, when I would do Wo Saat Din and Mr. India, these kind of films, Beta and all these kind of films, Ishwar, you know, they would compare me to that I had a little bit of something. You know, that there was some resemblance, or there was some, my acting style was, you know, but I'm being very honest, I was inspired by Raj Kapoor. I won't lie to you. He was one of my inspiration, and, you know, and he has been an idol whom I have looked up to. And I remember I would, you know, that I would say it's, you know, it's like, that obviously, and we all really hero worship Charlie Chaplin, including Raj Kapoor. And I was fortunate enough to spend a lot of time with Raj Kapoor, and we discussed that also. And he was very happy, and I think he felt very flattered that you know, I was doing roles which kind of roles which he used to do. And he always told me, I said, Anil, stick to these roles only. I said that you are the only actor who can do this, because this kind of innocence and this kind of you know, pathos which you get to your performance and to your roles, there's nobody in India who can do that. There are action and all those kind of roles, these roles, there are so many actors who can do it, but there's nobody who can do that. But you know, for these kind of roles, you need good directors. So I always told them, I said, Raj uncle, I said, I don't have good directors. You had, you know, you used to direct yourself, and you had such good writers like K. Abbas, and you know, directors like Rishikesh Mukherjee and Mahesh Kaul and, you know, Mahbub Khan and all, who were masters. but as a generation changed, as I told you, from the from 60s to 70s to 80s, 90s, and things kept on changing, and we didn't have that kind of writers and directors. So obviously I had to do all kind of action roles. But yes, I agree that Charlie Chaplin and Raj Kapoor, they were my idol. I was inspired by both of them.
You have done a diverse range, though, and I wonder what you find most challenging, because I know you do comedy,
Yeah.
and you do the serious action stuff. To you, what's the most challenging?
For me, challenging is something when I get into an unknown territory, in terms of writing, in terms of role, in terms of director, in terms of everything, and the work environment. So that becomes very, very challenging for me. Otherwise, for me, I find everything coming very naturally to me. If it's comedy, dramatic, serious, everything comes very, very naturally. But sometimes there are certain roles, certain directors who are much more demanding, and that becomes much more challenging, rather than saying that comedy is more challenging or dramatic or serious or romantic or anything like that. I think everything comes. I enjoy doing everything. Yeah.
Except that in Hollywood, now where you're in big demand, if they want you for comedy, you've got the interesting challenge of knowing Indian comedy, but wondering how that would translate in terms of doing.
Yeah, I'm really, that would be tough, because you see, I want to experience that. I want to. Matter of fact, I told all my agents here, I must do a comedy now, because I've done Slumdog Millionaire, which was, the role was quite. It was, it was more, had a lot of grey shades, and it was mean also sometimes, and very positive. It had all those kind of shades. And then I've done 24, where I play a Middle Eastern leader, and now I would want to do a comedy. So it'll be fun.
Who do you look up to in the sort of Western world in terms of acting, in terms of if you're going to work with someone who would want to do comedy? Would there be anyone in particular?
And there are great comedians now. In comedy, if you see all these TV shows and a lot of films and all, even Robert De Niro, in certain, is doing phenomenal comedy in a lot of films. And so these are the actors whom I have liked. Jim Carrey obviously has his own style. I liked his earlier work. I had quite a few many years now. I've not seen really a great film from him now. And these are the actors who are great. Yeah.
You were close to Raj Kapoor, and I presume he was a mentor to you to some degree. Who else were your mentors?
I think Raj Kapoor was not. He was more like an uncle to me, not a mentor. Because silently, obviously, I would admire his way of life.
Did he guide you? If he was a guide for you as well?
No, he didn't. For me, just meeting him sometime and he appreciating my work was enough for me. He didn't have to really guide me, because obviously he had his sons whom he had to guide, and he had his own studio, because I was just trying to I was too small a person to really for him to be I had no that kind of connections with him, but he was always nice to me. Otherwise, it's been I'm a kind of person, like in my early stage of my career, there are. There have been people who have been very, very helpful. Like there is Javeed Akhtar Saab, there is Shabana Azmi, who were very, very helpful. And then there was Subhash Ghai, Yash Chopra, later on, my brother, of course. We did a lot of work together. And definitely my wife, yeah, she wasn't in the film business, but still, she's, been a kind of an influence in terms of every which way, and has been like a friend. And so ultimately, I think she has made a lot, she has been a immense support to me in every which way. It's an all-round kind of support.
Where do you see the future going? What sort of targets have you set yourself?
See, for me, my future now is obviously things change. It's more my children, and spending a lot of time with my family, and something which will, and if there are roles which really challenge me, and like for example, for me now, going and working abroad, in international films is a great challenge. So that's what I look up to, or look forward to. And in India, of course, I'm going to always do my mainstream commercial films, and because I'm here because of that, and that I'll keep on doing those films, entertaining people. That's what I love doing, entertaining comedy, and and all kinds of entertaining films. I just love doing entertaining films. I love making people laugh, smile. So that's what I'm going to do all my life. And otherwise, I'm planning to, so I've done films, I've done television now in 24. And the next step is I'm doing theatre now.
Your daughter also has gone into the movies, and is it a career path? Is it an industry that you advocate? Is it one? I mean, being on the inside, is it something you're happy with your kids having an interest in?
Well, my wife has tried her best that none of my children should be in films, and there were no magazines and nothing. They're banned in my house. I said, my wife is a banker's daughter. Not that she discouraged it, but she says, I would prefer that they are not, they would do something else. But ultimately, how it is, all the three children want to be in films. So my eldest daughter is an actress, my younger daughter is a film producer, and my son is studying in America films, cinema.
You can't keep the Kapoors down. Now, if you were to be remembered a certain way, of course, your movies are going to be your legacy as well. But what would you like your legacy to be?
I don't know. You see, I really know. I never think about what I should be. I just do my work and move on. That's been my life. I just really, I don't think, because I feel people are forgotten. That's what I think God has made everybody, and He's given us that kind of, that kind of a brain all over the world that they're there, they remember you for your good work, and then after some time they forget you, and we all are going to be forgotten. So it's not that I really go really deep into what I should be remembered. What I want to do in this life, I should do whatever best I can. In terms of my work, in terms of my relationship, in terms of my health, in terms of my, trying to entertain, trying to make my family happy. And everybody whom I work, there are certain good memories they should have. People who I worked with, and they should remember me as that we shared some good moments with Anil when we were working with him. That's what I want. I'm not really into that I should be remembered for what it is. I feel you might, no matter what kind of work you do, you might think, or anybody might make you feel that you're a great actor, you've done some great things, you achieved a lot. I don't think so. I think people forget, and it doesn't matter to me.
Well, it's been lovely to share some moments with you now, Anil Kapoor. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.